What's up, guys? Hello, everyone. What's up? Where are you guys watching from? Just testing out the mic. Normal routine, trying to see if everything is working fine. Okay, I think we are good to go. Yep, we are good to go. Looks like there's no World Cup match today. I was expecting to see a World Cup match, but there's none today. The next match will be on Saturday, I think. So yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we still will continue from the last episode we did. The last stream we did where we worked on um to do app. I still on a to do app with Flutter. We didn't complete it. There was a whole lot of stuff we needed to do, but yeah, just not yet done with that. With the to do app, there's a whole lot of stuff. But let's see what we can achieve today. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, I have a list of what I want us to do today. Basically, I want us to kind of like fix some issues that we had the last time. Whereby when we are clicking on the to do, when we kind of like don't typing on the to do, we can actually save it because there's some issues with that. Viewing to dos and to dos note and being able to delete the list and also being able to delete to dos also, yeah, and updating a list and also updating a to do or something like that, and other stuff I have done yet that we can actually see if we can be able to accomplish some of them today. Not all of them because I don't think we can actually finish up with every single thing on the list. But I think we can actually be able to complete one or two stuff. Yeah. So right in here, I'm gonna basically minimize this. This is actually a Rust programming language. I'm just kind of like getting into learning Rust programming language recently. Been trying it out. It's been fun so far, but yeah, that's for Rust. And here's our flutter. So first of all, let's actually open up our desktop app, our flutter desktop app. So just go ahead and open it up from here. Yeah, select the Mac OS and then click on run to run our app. Yeah, it opened up on my different windows, so I'm just bringing it back here. So currently this is our to-do app and this is what it looks like at the moment. And yeah, so go ahead and improve this more. Yeah, let's see where we can actually start from. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize this. I don't need this. And yeah, I need both there, and next this one by the side. So first of all, let's see what we can actually do. Start off with yeah, guys, on the chat I'm asking a question: where's the best places for to network with developers? Depending on your location where you are, where do you think is the best place, or if there is an online platform you think is the best place to network with developers, let me know. So we're gonna start with the add X and shake icon to the input for to-dos. So this is what I'm talking about. Over here, let's say we type in some stuff, right? We want this to move over to the next line, not continuing on the horizontal axis. So I know I kind of like commented it out, the feature, but I'm going to add it back because we are having an issue with it. That's why I commented it out. So that should be custom forms. Is that no, not custom forms. That should be within main view. Instead of main view, have this text box that we have. Yeah, text box. So I commented this out. I'm going to add it back in. Save. Now if you go back and type, continue typing on this, you're going to see this move over to the next line. So this is the stuff you want. So you keep on typing, you're going to keep on moving to the next line, which is good. But you can actually see there's no padding around it, so it looks as the text is going off from the input text box itself. So let's see if we can actually contain that by adding a padding, content padding. So I'm going to add a content padding top. So I'm going to say top 10.0, and what if I just make it 10? No, let's just start with 10.0. Bottom, let's say bottom should be 10.0, right? And what about saying, okay, let's leave it this way. Save this. Now you're gonna see the issue is actually fixed. You have this going off the screen, the input box as if is on its own. So that's what we are fixing. I think you cannot make this 13, should be okay. Yeah, just make it 13. Save that. Yeah. Now if you keep on adding, typing in, now you can actually see it's kind of being contained within the box. It's no longer going off the screen. That's cool. You can actually see that working. So our input keep on getting bigger and everything is being contained. So we want, in a situation whereby we are typing, we want to actually show some icons on top of this input box so that we can be able to know, okay, be able to cancel the inputs details or be able to show them. So that's what we want to do right away. You can actually do that by saying we can use prefix to do that, but I don't want prefix in this case. Prefix will not work in this case, so we can actually try something else. So we have prefix, widget, prefix icon, or suffix or something like that. So if you add prefix, it will actually go ahead and show up here, which, like I said, is not something we are looking forward to. What I think we could actually do is to wrap this inside a stack widget, right, and then show those icons on top of it. I think that would actually work better than any other stuff you can think about. So let's go ahead and try that. So I'm going to wrap this with a stack widget. First of all, I'll wrap it to column and change that to stack. Now we have a stack widget, and this is inside our stack widget. So we want to create another child. It should be an icon, and the icon, we're gonna use our unique icon dot close. Yeah, that should be this. Make this const size, add a size to be around 20.0, and I'm gonna go ahead and save this size, and you can actually see where this shows up at the top left, but we don't want it there. We want it to show up at the bottom. So I'm going to wrap this with position widgets, or basically I can actually do this with alignment. So let's try alignment. Align, within align is going to have an alignment property. I'm going to say alignment dot bottom center. Let's try that. That means this has to be a constant. Remove the constant from this. Yeah, we'll just remove the constant for the previous one and add it to the parent widget. That will fix the issue. So go ahead and save this. And there you go. Bottom center, I mean to say. think I should wrap this with position also. Position dot fill. Okay, that's gonna cause an issue, so let's move the positioning from it. And this being aligned bottom center, icon close 20 and other stuff, so you can understand that the bottom center for it is at the top there. That's not true. It should be somewhere around this area. Let's see why that's happening. Either we actually increase the height or wrap this with a sax box to give it a height and other stuff, or we could actually go ahead and say with the alignment that we currently have, I could say we want the positioned to be somewhere within this area for our input field. I think that would work better. Okay, let's say we have this with flexible. Would that work? So let's try flexible and see if that works. Okay, it goes ahead to position it right here. Okay, that's not what we're expecting, so I'm going to remove the flexible. What about wrapping it with a container? Still not fixing our issue. That's gonna cause some issues, so let's remove that also. Let's think of some way to actually achieve this much better. So we have an alignment in here. Alignment bottom center didn't work for us. Actually, see, bottom right, that's still not gonna work because it's still gonna position this at this top as the bottom, and it's not taking accountable of the current height or width of this input field. That's why it's kind of like stopping at this end. solution right here. We could actually go ahead and wrap this with a positioned element and see what that looks like. Okay, say from the top. This makes sense. So let's say we minimize this. That goes up. It's no longer being seen. If you go ahead and keep on typing, it shows up at this point. And if we keep on going on, kind of like keeps staying at this point. That's not what we are looking for. You can sort of putting this in here. You can actually go ahead and put it at the bottom right below somewhere here. Maybe that could work much better. And then show or hide it right here. We can actually tap, close, something like that. Because unless you can actually figure out how to dynamically be able to show this somewhere below here, always move it down as this kind of increases, the size of the input field increases. That could actually be much better for us. Let's see, height, that doesn't work. Height, size, nope. Let's try using key. Let's see what we can actually get from using key over here. So let's say we gave this a global key. Just trying some stuff out. That's actually worth it. Let's say we give this a global key. So a global key input is equals to global key, close it off, cap it off, or close it off, anyone, semicolon it off. So we can actually scroll down and then use our global key right in here, and then I could say global key. I don't know if that makes sense. I'll say top global key dot current context dot size dot height I'll make sure this is not gonna be this is not gonna be no. I'll just use optional, no shake on it, and then I could just say multiply this by, let's do this way, let's see what we can actually get. Okay, that's still not working. Or we could actually improvise here by saying whenever this is gone, you can always call this on unchanged function of the input field. I think we have an unchanged function. Go add one. Whenever there's a change, get us an event, and then go ahead and call this function, or basically console log us the current height or something like that. I'll just use log statement, then pass this in, then to string, and in that case force on wrap, and there you go. You can actually go ahead and save this. This path, there you go. Go ahead and save. Now if you go over here and kind of like, let's keep on typing. So we remove this at the moment, and you're gonna see the height or stuff like the height is 98, and if we keep on typing, the height will be console log to us as stuff like that. So let's see. See that? So you keep on kind of like giving us different heights depending on the current height of the widget or the input widget that we are actually monitoring on, because we are looking at this widget, this input widget, to see the current height or current size of it, and then increase or basically reduce this closer to the height of our input widget. And if you keep on typing, keep on giving us different heights, something like that. See how that goes. So keep us giving us different heights, and if you the more this grows, the more kind of like keep us giving us a new different height or something like that. So we can actually use that that way to actually bring this down or increase this depending on the changes on the height of our input field, and then call this function being called and assigned to a different variable, something like that. I think that would actually work much better. Let's go ahead and do that. So what I will do right away is to create a variable, maybe somewhere at the top right here. But calling that, we actually rebuild all our widgets using states. Let's try something. Stream builder, the builder function as a context and a snapshot. We could actually say we want to return a position widget somewhere like this. Basically say return. There we go. There you go. Return this, but now we have to listen to a stream of data. Can we pass this in as a stream? Would actually help. Does that make actual sense? Okay, so because this is not a stream, so it's not gonna work. So I don't wanna create a new event with our, what's it called, block to just monitor these changes. And if you go ahead and call set state to update right here, set state will work, but the issue is kind of like it can update most of the stuff or most of our UI currently at this particular point in time. Or else we don't mind, so you can actually use set state in here to update this. So using set state, this is basically what it's going to look like. So let me show you guys, but I don't want to use set state, but let's try it. So I'm going to say double height is equals to say this should be equals to 0.0 at the moment. There you go. And we want to always update that in here. So instead of using this particular double top here, I'm going to say top should now be equals to height variable we created at the top, and right in here we're going to be calling set state, and we're going to pass in double, which is our height, to be equals to basically update that particular variable to become equals to the new height that we're going to have. Now, if you go ahead and save this, let's restart and start again. So this becomes a height, and if you keep on typing over here, it's gonna not always be building as fast as possible, but that's actually not good. So I would actually do it more like this. So I'll use an if statement right here. I'll say if height is not equals to, if it's not equals to this current height we have here, then go ahead and update the height, else do not update the height. So I won't have that function being called every single time we type inside our input field. That looks more expensive, so let's go again. That still goes on and on. Let's see. We don't need to return in here. we are getting we are getting the update, but I think we are missing some stuff. Maybe we can actually add a delay here to delay this. Maybe only call this within after a few minutes or few seconds, or use kind of something like a debounce or something like that, so that it won't be called regularly. I think we can actually do that, but or we could just move over to the next stuff we have. The one other way to actually achieve this without going through this medium or way of doing this. So I think I'll choose the next one. So let's go over to the next one, which is much better and more performance. So let's close this. So moving over to the next method or next way we can actually achieve this, and that will be basically removing. I will remove this. Currently I have these two stuff inside a stack widget, and if you could remember, stack widgets it's kind of like layered each other on top of one another. It's kind of like being stacked on top of each other, so I don't think stack widget will work better in this case, because once this keep moving down, understand, the other one, once it keeps moving down, this one also we keep on staying at one particular position where we kind of like kept it. So it doesn't make sense that way. I think it will actually make sense if we just convert this to a column. If you move that to a column, so I'm going to remove my position from here. There's no need of adding a child anymore. So this looks like this. So if you save that, so this is what we come about with, but we are going to be hiding this or showing this depending if the user is typing or if not the user is typing. So this will not always be here. So we have that icon here, so we need another one. There should be two, one for closing the input, another one for saving the input, or we could actually say one for closing the input should be a suffix. For closing the input, we can actually add a suffix icon here. So that's what we call a suffix icon. This, and I would say this should be an icon. Makes sense to actually use the same icon that we have here. Then for saving the icon, we just do it the way we are trying to do it before. So this should be the closing icon. Go ahead and save. And now I can actually have this show up for closing the input or something like that. Yeah, so this should be closing icon, but this will not always be here. Like I said, we are going to actually make it show up dynamically, not at this point. So we still have to do that. But for now, let's go ahead and keep this this way. Then for saving the icon, maybe we can actually try, it doesn't make sense to add to surface icon at that end, so I don't think it makes any sense to add to. It doesn't actually make sense to also add a prefix icon here also, just for saving, so that doesn't make sense to me. I think what should happen is that we can actually add a check mark right at the bottom here for actually saving this. So to do that, I should actually do something like this. I will change this to check mark. That should be check mark. Yeah, save. There you go. And change the color to colors.green. So green represent go ahead, kind of like a traffic light. When you see green, you know that okay, go ahead, or when you see red, stop, or something like that. So your green means go ahead. So save. I think this makes sense to be an icon button instead of just an icon. And if it's an icon button, let's fix this first. Have this way, and then if I change this to an icon button, it's going to throw some errors that we need to fix. Call this to be a child. Basically an icon, and the icon is actually a widget. Then we pass it our icon widget to it. Make this to be a constant, and then add one more parameter which is unpressed here. Is a function, nothing much. There you go, save, and there you go. So now if you tap on it, it looks like as an icon or something like that. But one stuff is remaining, we have to push it to the end right here. Let's try if we can actually use an alignment. I don't know why I like that alignment property. Just try seeing how that works much. So I'm gonna use bottom right. Yeah, there you go. You can actually see that position at the bottom right. So saying okay, tap on this to mean go ahead to save. Then we currently have this one also. So what else could I will show you do right in here? Okay, yeah, like I said, this will be hidden and this will be hidden unless the user kind of like wants to tap or something like that. And also makes perfect sense to replace this with an icon button also. It's not just an icon, but let's see what that looks like. There are so many ways to actually achieve a click on that side with an icon also on it. Let's try this, see what that looks. Okay, that looks good. But this should be a close icon. Yeah, save that. Let me get one. The color should be black. There you go. So you have both of them at this point. So type in, you can decide to tap on this to declare out the icon. So let's start with that. So first I'm going to fix this one. So whenever someone taps on it, I'm going to say controller dot clear to just clear the whole text we currently have inside the controller. Let's say do that. You see the whole stuff is now cleared. Type again, tap on that, just clear the whole stuff out. Then tapping on this, we just save the what we have, save our input or our data. Yeah. So let's go ahead and try that out, because if you go ahead and type in and hit the enter key, it basically moves to the next line without saving any other stuff. So that's not what we want. And I'm gonna say remove this code, we don't need this. What else do we not need? So we need the alignment one to be here. Basically it looks like we are going to move this out of here and comment this out and move it in here. But there's some stuff we need to do. We have to check if there's an actual text within our input field before we do any other stuff. So controller.text dot is not empty. So if it's not empty, go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But we are going to be getting the text from our controller. Controller.text.spreads, all those stuff that we wanted to do. So there you go. We are not done yet. One more thing, we actually want to know when the user starts typing on this, to be able to toggle this on and off, because right now this is working. This can actually clear all our inputs, but this one is also working. If you tap on this, nothing happens. Our input field is not saved because this is actually empty. To fix that, to actually show this when someone is typing and also show this when someone is typing, what we need to do, I'm going to wrap this with a builder or something like that to actually show it when it's kind of starts receiving an input or something like that. Okay, if we are to use a focus node right in here and someone tap on it, I'm gonna set, we're gonna call focus.focus on it, or basically use set state on change, get us an event, because it needs to pass us a data. Basically I'm going to say show or hide. So remove this from height, we don't need this anymore. Basically there's another property we need to remove, the global key, we don't need that. Yeah, there you go. And now we can actually have the second variable that we want to create, which is basically saying it's going to be a Boolean variable, and it's going to be is show, or basically say is typing. I think that's the perfect explanation of what it's going to be doing. So set is typing to be false. Once someone starts typing, we are going to be notified that someone is typing, and then we can start doing any other stuff we want to do. On save, on tap, or something like that. I think it's best to do it on tap, then hide this on focus. No, let's do it on change. So I'm going to say on change if event that's been received, which is basically the test dot, is not empty. So if it's not empty, go ahead and set this to is typing to be true, else set is typing equals to false. There you go, set is typing equals to false. But if you do this will actually be always, this will keep on calling this whenever there's an input. So if the event is not empty, so if the user is typing any, for every character the user types, this will get called, and this is typing will be called every single time. So we don't want that. So I will say and is typing is not empty, and is typing is equals to false. That's only when you call this. And that's another issue. We want this to be called only if this is empty and is typing is true. So I will say set if else if is typing dot is empty, not is typing, that basically event dot is empty and is typing is equals to true. So even if you go ahead and console log this out to make sure that this is not being called more than what we wanted it to be called, so you can just say log log set to true, and over here log set to false. There you go. And let's go ahead and take this for a ride and see what this looks like. So if you save, did we do anything wrong? Because this is not trying to save for some reason. Yeah, something's wrong. Okay, I see. So I'm going to remove this. Yeah, okay, that's fixed. So let's say we tap on this. Now nothing is being called because this is our first tap. So I'm going to type in a letter, and you can actually say set to true is now being called because because this is not empty and its typing is actually false to begin with. So set to true is called, and if you go ahead and tap on this, nothing else is being called, so nothing at all is called. If you keep on typing, nothing is being called because it's currently true. And if you go ahead and kind of start deleting this, you see nothing is being called, but you're going to see something. So if you delete this all to the end, now next one is being called. So set to false is not called. and set to false is no longer called mush. So that's one way to fix this. So we are making sure, basically what we are trying to do is we are making sure that this function, this set state is not called for every input that the user is doing, which is very bad. Set state, why do I have nested set state? Okay, this is actually pretty bad. We have double nested set state, and I even didn't see that. It should be single set state and single set state here, not double. Who actually does the double set state? So we save this, and next let's see what we could actually do. So right now, let's start with the first one. So we want this one to show whenever the user is typing and hide and be hidden whenever the user is not typing. To do that, I'm going to go over here, the surface icon, and basically say is typing. If it's typing is true, go ahead and show this, else go ahead and show an ordinary widget. Or we can actually use an opacity, wrap this inside opacity and say if it's hiding. If it's true, set the opacity to this, else set the opacity to this. Both of them still works, but I think opacity would actually be much better. Let's try the opacity. I'm gonna say copy this, wrap with opacity, or we could also use visibility. Let's try visibility. Then this will be, I think it's proper, visible. So that depends on if it's typing. If it's typing is true, then become visible, else hide, become hidden. And if you save this, now it's hidden, and once someone starts typing, it shows up, and see that it goes off, shows up, goes off, shows up. So that's the functionality we are looking for, and that's working. So the next one is to fix this. I'm going to also wrap that with a visibility widget. So that's basically our icon button, wrap with a visibility. I'm going to say visible. Visible should be equals to is typing. That's only when you show up. I don't want it to show up if any other stuff happens, but show whenever someone is typing, and both of them goes off. Something strange happens. Our input kind of like goes down and something like that. And if it shows up, shows up. So that's one way to fix this and get this to work. But you are I just want to make something clear. You are not actually left with using visibility. There are other widgets you can actually use. You can use opacity, but from flutter documentation and performance usage metric and stuff like that, they kind of like do discourages people from using opacity when you don't need to use it. And I think in that case you can actually use visibility, or you can actually use the next one, which is you can use the ternary operator, which is basically our equals to sign and this sign. Yeah, ternary operator to actually show stuff or hide it. In that case, what we're doing will be interchanging between two widgets. Maybe you have a empty container, or you have this being shown up and then no longer using visibility. But I think visibility is the easiest one to actually use and implement here. And next stuff you can actually do is basically, instead of having this set state be called every single time, we could just move this out and just use our block pattern to include this events here, because this is actually an event. Since we are using event driven pattern in our code base or in our project, so it makes sense to actually move this set state to actual block event, and then have this triggered using block instead of just being triggered by our own by using set state and other stuff. Because set state will just basically rebuild the whole widget right in here, so that's not what we are expecting, so we don't want that. Yeah, that's another refactoring you can actually make. We make that later on, but for now let's focus on getting all that stuff to work. And let's see, so we have that working. Let's say we go ahead and type a list in here. Let's say I want to say visit homies today, and then if you hit on this, enter, so this will save our to do, and you can actually see it being saved. It says visit homes. I'm not trying to say homes, I'm trying to say homies, but I just typed in homes. If you restart this, it's still being saved. So now this is actually persisted within our database, which I'll actually show you guys how the database looks like. So our database, we are using Isar DB for our database persistent. So this is what it looks like. Just give me a moment, let me bring up a browser to show you, because I kind of found out that Isar DB doesn't work on Chrome browser. Not that the database doesn't work on Chrome browser, I mean the debugger, or basically what's it called again, the local host. Yeah, the local host inspector doesn't work on our Firefox, because this is Firefox browser and this is Chrome. It already works on Chrome. If you open this, and this is what our database actually looks like. So this is our database right now. If you go over to the to-do list, this is basically, it should be to-do entity, and you can actually see the last to-do we added is this visit homes today, which is what we are currently seeing here, visit homes today. This one is to-do list, basically all our lists right here, which is 7 in number, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. That's what we are saying 7 to-do list. And this to-do model, we don't really need it. I left it there just for trying our stuff out during the starting point when we started throughout the whole project. So that's when I did this, so just left it there. But it makes sense to remove it since I don't see the use of it within our database or something like that. So but for now, I just leave it there, not too much. Yeah, but the ones we are working with at the moment is the to-do list and the to-do entity, which is having all this stuff written here. Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, let's go over to the next one. So, and I like how you can actually visualize our database. For those of you who are kind of recently knowing Isar DB, so Isar DB is actually a database built in DAX. So you can actually find that in pub.dev. So this is all about Isar DB. You can just go ahead and check it out. It's actually very simple to use, and I like it. I've been using it recently as I tried it fun. And this is Isar DB. So the owner of this, the person that's in charge of this is the person that created there's a database called, I've been using that one, so it's called come on, what's the name again? That's a database I used in our previous project when we are building the Psyche app. Oh my goodness, what's even the name again? So I'm trying to remember the name of the second database he created. I think he has currently 3 databases for Flutter, and that first one should be that's I've forgotten. But if I remember, I will let you guys know. Yeah. Or you can actually go ahead to GitHub. It should be within my GitHub repo. GitHub profile. The database I'm looking for is called, and we use it in one of our projects called Psyche app. Where is it? Psyche. I think I'm currently here. looks like I don't even have it here. Okay, that's strange. But I will actually look into that. I've forgotten the database, but the guy has a lot of popular databases that's actually good for Flutter development, so you guys actually check him out. Yeah, back to our project. So we currently have this working, so we have both of these fixed and also this actually working. So let's see the next stuff we can actually do. At X icon, view to do and is node. So we want to be able to view the to dos we currently have. And so basically what I'm trying to say is that when someone taps on any of these to-do lists here, we want to be able to show the user what is currently inside that to-do list. Maybe if they want to edit it, delete it, or change it, or whatever they want to do. So just show them that to-do list. So that's basically what we want to do right away. Let's go ahead and do that. So what I could actually say, close this. Okay, it's funny that when you tap, and also when you go ahead and save something, this kind of remains empty, but this two is still showing up. So that's not a good user experience, because the user will kind of be confused, like why is this two still showing up there. So what we want to do is to toggle that off. Whenever we save our to do, I'm going to call set state, and then set is typing to false, and that will fix our small bug. Yeah, so if you go ahead and type something right away, call save, now both of them is now hidden, so that's the functionality we are looking for. And that's fixed. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So when I tap on this, I want to be able to see both the title and the notes for each of the to-dos, because if you could remember, we can actually create a to-do with a title and also with a note. Then let me show you an example. So let's say the to-do is going to be wash word cup. How did I get it? Okay, yeah, that should be correct spelling, wash word cup. And then the note should be, what do I want to do in washing World Cup? So I want to say wash all the matches that we have today in the stadium. And you can actually take a look and see what is going on. So we have a way to distinguish between our to-do title and our to-do notes. So from year to year is actually our to-do title, and from year to year is our to-do note. That's why we are using this way for the user. So whenever you are typing something, you add a double slash, and that means you want to start writing the notes. But if you don't add a double slash, whatever you're writing is actually the title. Until you add a double slash, then it will change the note to a different color. So that's why you're actually seeing this being a different color and this being a different color, to tell the user this is title and this is notes. So that's cool. If you go ahead and save this right away, now we can actually see the title. You see how this is separated as a title, but we can't see the note because there's no way to view all our to-do notes. Even if you're tapping on it, it's not working. So let's go ahead and fix that, and that will be fixed within our to-do is saved. So we are going to say whenever a to-do is being tapped on custom to-dos, that's this stuff right here. Whenever it's being tapped on, we want to get the to-do notes and to-do title. Wait a second. What is going on? I think we missed something. Okay, yeah, no, we didn't miss any stuff. But how do we get hold of the current to do that the user wants to change? Let's see. So yeah, we have the main view right here, which is currently where we are showing all our custom to-dos inside a list view. These are all our custom to-dos right over here. And what we want to do is when this is tapped on, we want to be able to actually get the selected to-do event. So we need to create an event called selected to-do or something like that. I don't know if that makes sense. Or we could just say, okay, when this is tapped on, when it is saved and untapped, just call. Okay, no, we don't need an event called selected to do. Yeah, I figured it out. So we don't need it. So what we can actually do is to create something underneath here, which is basically that is going to show our overlay or some stuff like that, and basically hide, like I say, hide or show our overlay and some stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. That should be over here. I think we already have somewhere we are doing that, so I'll just copy that over. But it actually makes sense to have it to be a reusable widget on its own. And I could remember we did it on the sidebar. Yeah, is it not? Okay, not on the sidebar. Where exactly did we actually do that? Maybe on the main screen. Okay, it's not actually, wait, not here too. Then where did we do that? Okay, this is strange. I'm confused where I actually implemented that particular feature, because I know I've done it somewhere within the app, so I just don't want to start writing it again. Just copy it and do some changes. I think it's actually high time we actually make it a reusable widget on its own. And I'm just copying. Okay, yeah, I see it. So it's called show drop down. I'll just copy the show drop down stuff. So we go ahead and click Ctrl C on there, Ctrl V. Okay, that will just copy the current line. So I need to highlight every single thing before clicking on Ctrl C to copy it. So there we go, we have our overlay copied. We just need to do some changes, so that should be inside our main view. Paste it right in here, and now start working on the changes that we want. We need to copy one more stuff. The overlay entry, the two overlay entry that we left here, just need to copy that. Okay, yeah, copy the two of them and paste that right inside our main view. Like I said, there's a better way to actually do this. You can actually convert this to reusable widgets, which we'll still do later on, but for now let's keep this way. And then we have these two showing up. Our overlay entry is showing up here. Once that is called, we are calling list input view. We don't need that anymore. We just delete this. Let's see, there's some stuff we don't need, so basically go ahead and delete them. That's what I'm trying to do. So bring this custom colors in. The children property for the column, right now we're going to just go ahead and delete them. I don't need it, so delete this row widget. Delete this input field and the rest, so I'm going to delete. What else? And also delete, and delete this. I think we are good to go, and just call this to be constant, so that there will be no errors anymore. First widget or on first tab, remove that. That is not needed right in here. So format our code and go ahead and save this. Now I want in a situation whenever something is being tapped, we want to show it to the user. So that means this should have an untap function, and unfortunately it doesn't have an untap function, so we need to add that to our custom to-dos. Go to definition. I'm going to say this should have a final void callback. I'm going to call this select, or basically unselect, or I think untap makes sense. Untap or unselect. I'm even confused on which which name to give it to. So unselect kind of sounds much better, and kind of like tells us what we are trying to do. We are trying to select a to do, so that's why I named it unselect. Then you can scroll down. Now we want this to have an untapped feature within it. So next we can actually do is to wrap it. Wrap this with a gesture dictator. Gesture dictator. Yeah, we have been using gesture dictator too much in Flutter, indicate whereby we actually forgot that the other means to actually add functions, untap functions to widget and other stuff. So we have ink wheel, we have mouse region and other stuff. Yeah, I think these three. Or you can just use buttons, list buttons that has a child property and make this a child of a list button or something like that. So there's multiple ways to actually do this. So I'm gonna say untap, and the function is basically be show drop down. Is going to be onSelect, which is going to be widget. No. This is the widget. No. Widget dot onSelect. Yeah, that would be the function there. But there's an issue. So if you take a look, you see we're already passing the title. We're not passing the icons of this particular input, or in my case I would say, yeah, input field that we have currently have here. We need to be able to pass them in. Or okay, I see the reason being that we don't have a way to actually be able to select the same way we have here, for them to select an emoji or colors for each of these input, each of these to-dos that are trying to create. So until we add that, then we can be able to change these icons here to be dynamic. So for now, we'll just go ahead and leave it there because this is the icon, it's still there. And since we already added the untap function, so it makes sense to start using it right away. So over here, I'm gonna say when this receives an untap, in my case onSelect, go ahead and call this function show dropdown, passing a context and a key. Why the hell do we need a key for this? Why do we need a key for this? That's actually just a question. I think I just passing a key, so I can actually know where to start from. I think, yeah, it knows where to start from and where not to start from. So we can actually go ahead and create a global key in here. Okay, we are using the key for positioning. Yeah, remember, I'm using the key for positioning. I will just call this global key. This will be overlay. Call this to do overlay, which is equal to a global key of its own also. And now to do overlay, the key we'll be using will be attached to the input field right in here, because we want it to be somewhere show up after this input field right there. And then I could say now I want to pass that key to do overlay. If you go ahead and save this, and let's go ahead and tap, you can actually see it showing up. It's actually showing, but it's too small for us to see. So tap, it goes away, tap, it shows, tap, it goes away. Okay, that's nice, but let's actually add some stuff we need. And I'm going to get a design we can actually emulate. So I'm looking into Dribble to see a design we can actually use. I'm going to say pop up overlay, and in this case I'm going to use multiple designs. So we want our pop-up to look similar to, not similar, but just see how pop-ups looks like, and then see what we want ours to look like. I think something like this is okay. No, why do you want me to sign in? Come on. I can actually, oh, come on. That's not cool. So I need to sign in before I actually view this. That doesn't make any sense. We could just go ahead with this similar pop-up we have here, then just add a text field within it that can actually show our title, then a text field that can show our notes. Last but not the least, maybe a way to cancel, close the input. Yeah, close the input. Edit our text and save our editor. Make changes to our titles or make changes to our notes, and actually be able to check the input to be completed or not completed. So yeah, you could do that. So I will say that this should be in here. We're gonna have a test input field. Yeah, test field. How does it actually make sense to just create a new test field whereby we can actually copy the one we have here, make some changes to it, delete this, we don't need that stuff there anymore. Like I say, yeah, we can just copy the one we have here, do some little changes to it, or just convert it to be a reusable widget, and yeah, still do some changes to it anyway. But let's see. So I think it makes sense to actually convert it to a reusable widget. With inside our widget folder, I'm going to create a widget called this test field. I think we already have some. Okay, custom forms. Yeah, we already have it. Yeah, custom list input, and list icon. I'll just create another one called this custom underscore input dot that, and then just call this to be a stateless widget. Yep, a stateless widget. I'll just leave it to be a stateful widget. Okay, there you go. Just saying this should be custom input and basically return the input field we copied from outside and the unchanged function. I need to delete whatever I have in there, we don't need that. And let's just go ahead and import or this. So basically import widget, not widget, import material. Yeah, flutter material, that will fix all the errors. And then clear controller or clear. Do we need to pass the controller? We could just put that outside for the controller to be able to see and rebuild itself. I think that will actually make sense. I don't think we need the clear function, the surface icon right in here. In this case, I'm going to remove it for now until it actually makes sense that we need it. To do overlay, which is basically this, we don't need this. The key property we don't. Controller, we can pass our own controller to it. We could just yeah, it makes sense to pass our own controller to it. So I'm gonna create something called final variable. This is gonna be of type text editing controller, and I'm gonna call it controller. There you go. Then we can just use that here as widget dot controller to fix that issue, and then delete this one, I don't need it. And next function we need to have is another one called final function that's going to have optional variable. So it's going to what it's going to look like. There you go. And the function can also be optional, and I'm going to call this onChange, or just onChange. So basically saying whenever something is changing, call that function. I'm passing a variable which is a string to it, which is still optional. We could just call that right in here, and that should be widget, not this widget. Widget dot onChange, and there you go. Voila, we're done. Everything is fixed. And if we go ahead and use this everywhere where we need a custom input, where is our main screen? Okay, yeah, there's our main screen. We actually need it within our main screen, right? Yeah, I remember we need it here. So in here I'm gonna pass this custom, not this, yeah. I'll go ahead and import it. It needs us to import it also. There you go. I'll make this to be constant, and if that is constant, this does not need to be constant. Hold a second. And this needs, okay, requires a property called text editing controller, which is required. Is it actually required mainly? Is text editing controller, should it be required, guys? Because I don't think this is actually optional here. So why do we actually make ours to be required? So just make it optional also. Remove the required keyword from this constructor. So if you go back right now, that will be no longer an error, because yeah, that was the error we are having that is actually required. So go ahead and save this. So this will be only the current widget that we have right now. So if you bring this up again, you can actually see the two widgets showing up. See that the two input field we just added, so both of them are showing up right in here. So we need to fix that. What I will do is to maybe add something like a title that says, okay, this is a note, and this, okay, this is a title, or this is a note, so that they can be distinguishable between each other. I think that makes sense. And again, I want it to actually look like this, you see, unless you want to tap on this, that you know that this is editable, else it doesn't look like it's editable. So still need it to look like this. So let's go ahead and play around with this and get this to work. So what I'm going to do is to, where did we actually did the first one, which is custom form. Within our custom form, I know we use an input field, and we were able to turn off the field property. Okay, the field property is what we turned off. Also in here, custom input, we could have the ability to turn this off or on. So that means I'm going to say right in here, final boolean of type field, and if field is turned off, field color should also be provided. Within our own case, let's go ahead and turn this false for now, just for testing. Okay, this is not going to work, so we need to add this optional. If we go ahead and save this right away, tab, we actually set the field to be false, so it should definitely be false because we set it to start up being false. But because we added a field color, that's not going to happen unless we remove the field color. Now, wait a second. Why is it actually not respond? Okay, we need to restart our app. Yeah, I see. And if you bring this up, you can actually see none of them has a field anymore, and that's not good. That's good. Yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. I'm even saying that's not good. Yeah, still works. You still have a field color in here, but this field will be toggled on, off and on, depending on what the user wants. Field in there, save. What else do we need? We could actually say that field will start out being okay. Just leave it that way. And if you open this, bring this up, it still shows off until you tap inside it or tap inside these two. Then you know that there's a bit of a difference between both of them. And now we need a label. Add a label property to it. Should have a label. Label in here is actually a widget. It's expecting a widget. In this case, should be a test. We need to say that the test should be notes for now, just for testing purposes. Make this to be constant. Save. And you can actually see that label at the top says notes. See that? Notes. Notes. So that's cool. And label color, we can actually change the label style. Tester, what do we need that for? We can say font size should be around 14.0. Yeah, a little bit smaller. Color should be dark, so I'm gonna say colors dot black. That should be the color. And again, this should actually have a padding, and the text label should be changed dynamically. So I'm gonna say final string label. Label should be optional. That's a much faster way to add that. So label is optional. If label is optional, so we have notes. If label is available, go ahead and show us a label. Else, do not show us any stuff. So widget.label, if it's not equals to null, that means it's not empty. Go ahead and show us this. Else, we don't want to see this. Go ahead and show us a empty container. Or we could just use our visibility, shake right in there. Oh, now okay, so I will say that we want the label to be there. Yeah, I think, yeah, it should be there. If it should be there, that means it shouldn't be optional anymore, so it should be required. So I can actually set required to the back. Yeah, required this label. This shouldn't be constant, and this should. And this is going to show some errors within our input fields that we currently created that needs a label. So long as this needs a label, the first one is going to be to do title. Let's can say title label. I'm just going to say note. Save. Okay. Now we have an issue that we need to restart. tap. There you go. That's one. So you can actually see the first one is title, the second one is notes. Tap, tap. There you go. Both of them should actually have a space in between them. I'm gonna say sized box. Height should be 40.0. If you go ahead, open that up, you can actually see that. Yeah, maybe reduce it to 30 instead of 40. Now what do we want to do? So we want to actually be able to see the current selected, to see the name, to see the all the stuff that we want to be able to see right in there. What I would do is to pass in a variable right in here that's going to be of type, because if you can actually look into it, this has a list of type to do. And if you go in here and pass a variable called required, type is going to be to do, and is going to say, yeah, just say to do. Now what I want to do is to say the value. That's the problem. This needs a value property, input form, custom forms, custom input. Initial value is actually optional, so I'm gonna have a variable that says final string. You're gonna have initial value. I think that's a good spelling. I'll make that to be optional. Pass it right in here. Since it's actually an optional, I'm gonna still pass it in here. Widget dot initial value. Go ahead and save, and right within our main view, now we could have a property called initial value, and from my to do dot task, and wait a second, the value is a constant, literal must be a constant. Okay, yeah. I have initial value also. Yeah, there you go. To do dot note. And if you save both of these and try restarting our app to see the changes that we just made right away, that would be basically tap on this for unknown reason. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's an issue because I thought I restarted this and thought this worked. It didn't work. It shows an error right in here. Error required parameters. What did I say? Error required parameters, something like that. We need to fix that right in here. So okay, yeah, I'm just gonna have refactor this, and this requires a to do to be passed in. I'm gonna say passing the to do at this particular index in here. Go ahead and save, and take this for a test drive. I still need us to restart. Okay, tab. Nice. You can actually see the name is new home and the note is actually new home. So if I go ahead and tap outside, so let's tap on this. Nice. You can actually see the name, the title is Wash World Cup, and the note is Wash all the World Cup. Okay, wash all the matches that we have today in the stadium. So that's basically the note for this one. If you tap out and tap on this, visit home doesn't have a note. We could actually have a way that the user can add a note, since this doesn't have a note, so we still have to do that later on. What else again? Make sure that one has a note. home alone. Okay, home alone today at family house doesn't have a note, so the user can be able to add their own notes. Office work test doesn't have a note. After, okay, this has a note. After work on Friday, visit Mary home with friends. Okay, yeah, the user can be able to edit this and whatever. But for now, let's go ahead and do some changes and get to the fun part. I think this could actually have the width, maybe make it much bigger. I think so, and kind of position it somewhere a little bit from this side, somewhere here, and move it to this end. What do you guys think? See this kind of gives going out. I think we'll actually get that to work. If we want to do that, that means I'm gonna say when a show drop down is being called, and we get hold of the positioning of these two right in here, and I want to increase the y-axis with 130 pixels, and I think that's gonna look something different, but let's see what that looks like. So increasing it by 130. Okay, makes it start from this position. Maybe it should start from, I'm gonna look at which one should be better. Where do we think this should start from? Maybe we could actually make it to start from here, or we could just say start from, okay, let's move it a bit to 100 and fix. Okay, let's leave it there. And then on the x-axis horizontal, we want to move it closer somewhere here, and we could do that by saying x position from the left plus media query dot of context dot size. I'm just trying to see if this works. Might not work, might actually give us some issues. So 0.1, move that along the x-axis. I can actually try that out. Okay, this way it starts off. Maybe reduce it a bit to something like 0.5 or 0.5, something like that. What do you guys think? We think we should actually, I think this is much better. Yeah, I think starting from this position is actually much more better. And so we have this, we have that. Maybe this should have a margin, a padding at the top and a padding at the bottom more. So should increase that. So let's see where the padding, we added the padding. So padding top, padding right, and padding bottom. Maybe say padding top should be around 20, padding left and right should be 15, padding bottom should be 20 also. Max width, let's say that max width should be 390. I'll make it 400. If we give this a try, then we could end up with something that looks like this. Okay, I think this is much better. Okay, yeah, let's see what else we actually go ahead and start adding. So we added a way to actually, okay, have the title, have the notes and all those stuff within our input fields and yeah, stuff like that. But we don't have a way to cancel this. You can, okay, we can have a cancel button. do we need a cancel button since we can actually tap outside and have this closed? Or we could just add a cancel button, okay, still have it closed, okay. And we need a way to actually show this within our, okay, show that a checkbox where they can actually complete, mark this to be completed, or also have a date this was added and its icon. Trying to see how we can actually show them within this in a good user experience way. Maybe let's start with editing. So let's start with editing stuff. So for the editing one, we want the user to be able to edit the stuff they have. Okay, this is gonna have some issues. I'm gonna first of all remove it. Just minimize this a bit. There you go. So you can actually see that side by side. So what else I need to add is to have a way to edit this. Whenever someone edits, you can actually save it. Also edit this and save it. And then we can add the shake icons beneath it and all those stuff, or we can just go ahead with shake icons. And maybe we should just beautify this first before doing any other stuff. So we'll have some changes to do also. So I'm gonna add a container, this shake icon container we have here. In here, I'm gonna borrow it from where we created it. We created this one. Oh, you think that graphic design should actually look good? Okay. Are you talking about adding an overlay opacity to it, or just the graphic design, like just a graphic design to it? Because I don't see why we should add a graphic design to it. Just this. I think I don't know overlay, because what I'm trying to say, you know what overlay? What I mean overlay, like the whole stuff will be kind of like blacked out a bit. A bit of a transparency within it, then have this being layered on top of them. I think that will work if that is what you're talking about, instead of just a graphic design. Okay, yeah, we can actually do that. Yeah, we can actually look into that. But I'm still thinking maybe this will work much better just adding overlay, like a little overlay here. But the reason why I don't want to add an overlay is that I just want the user to be able to actually be able to see the input fields, select them and drop them, like select, drop, like when you tap select, drop. So just keep on working like that. Like that's the reason for adding this. And then maybe we can actually increase the height of this to actually make it much better. I think that will actually work much. If we increase the height, I think that should be much better. First, let's actually add stuff first and see what that looks like. Then we can know which one to change and which not to change. Let's add stuff that should be in there. We need the checkbox to be there. We need the checkbox to be there, because the design I'm trying to follow, we are trying to kind of like do some stuff that we know that's good a user experience that has been done before, instead of just adding graphic. Because I know what you mean, like adding this kind of like graphic design right there with this opacity at the back. That still works, but since our app is not actually emulating graphic, what did I try to say? Since our app is not trying to emulate the graphic design entirely, adding that kind of like looks off a bit to me, but who knows? Wait, you can actually try that also. So let's add this for now. Copy this for the this button for our input radio button or some stuff like that. I'm already forgetting what I'm trying to do. So yeah, just add this right somewhere here. Yeah. I cannot get what you mean right now. Yeah. We add that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, we definitely need to add that too. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so I'm gonna put that somewhere right in here. What's happened? Okay, yeah. convert, so you cannot just say convert the pop up to smoothing. So I will just remember, yeah, should be somewhere here. Okay, yeah, we just remember we need to do that. But for now, let's go ahead and finish this. So add this on it. Should, yeah, so we have this toggle button that says, it should say not completed or completed, depending if the user wants to toggle it complete or not. And that maybe to actually have a test behind it that says, okay, this is completed or this is not completed. I think that actually tells the user what is going on or something like that, than just being a rounded button. Yeah, because if this is completed, it should have a color, a background color. We still have to add a return on. So if it's completed, the idea is to have a background black color in there that says that this list or this to-do is completed. And yeah, I don't know what you guys think. Do you need us to just leave it like this or just add this and a test? What do you think should be make sense? Because if you had to add a test, we just look something like this. So if I want to add test in front of it, you should just look like, let's say, not completed. Yeah, it will look something like this. Save. Yeah, so this is what it should look like. If we go ahead with that method, should have a size box. Size box should have a height of 20.0 and make this to be constant, so I can actually have a margin at the bottom part of this. Yeah, so this is what it should look like. If we add a text between it, it should say not completed because this is not dark. And if you want it to be completed, the idea is to actually change the color. Like I said, just change the color. Where is that color property? Yeah, change the color to black. So this is what it should look like when it's actually completed. Colors dot black. Save. No, go back. So yeah, so if it kind of like appears this way, that means it's completed with the dark color around it, so that this means it's actually completed. But if it's the other way around, that means not completed. I think the test actually makes sense on it. Okay, yeah, the test that says not completed. Yeah, I think yeah, we're going to leave the test for me. Yeah, we can just leave the test that way. It makes sense too. Just kind of add a visual representation of what is going on than just a normal box. Let's say padding dot only. Not only should be left, should be 8.0. There you go. So you have this and then have this showing up right in here. Next we could actually do is to add a cancel button. So we can actually add a cancel button somewhere here, or we just need to add the date that this was actually done. Yeah, the dates like this. So this, there we go. I'm gonna copy that out and then say within our main view should have that date. No, not here. Should be outside the row widget, so the user can actually see that, okay, this is the date that this happened, or this date I added this, or this is the date that I want this to be done, or something like that, some stuff like that. So if we tap this, you can actually see the date showing up. There you go, 10th of March, and then we need to add the icon somewhere at the top. So for the icon, should be somewhere before any of the input field we currently have. The icon is just simple. Just for now, just get an icon in here. We are just using a hard-coded icon at the moment, like I said. We could just go back to main view. Let's put this icon at the top. Let's take a look and see what this looks like. That's off a bit. That's off. Wrap this with a padding, and we're gonna just say it should be constant. Move the constant from here. Move the constant from the test, and I'm gonna say the padding should be only. Start with the left. Left should be 8.0. And top, okay, just leave the top like that, and I'm gonna say padding bottom, and that should be 20.0, comma. If you go ahead and save that, there you go. You're gonna have some stuff like that. So just move the left a bit, like something like 13 pixels away. There you go. You can actually see the icon showing up, and the list that this belongs to. Do we need to show that? I don't think so. Just show the icon, the title of the to-do, the note of the to-do, if the to-do is completed or not, and then we have the dates that the to-do was added, some stuff like that. And what else we need to add? You should have a margin, right? And also a margin. Let's give it left. Should be 8.0. There you go. Finally, I think we already added whatever we need to add for this particular to do, except that we need to add the box. The last one we need to add is basically the cancel button underneath it. So you just go ahead and add that. Should be using a test button. We don't need to use a custom button here, just use a test button. Way more simple. And the child should be a test. Let's call this home. I'll just say cancel. Is that the spelling of cancel or the other way around, guys? Just add this. Okay, yeah, we can actually SR. Yeah, we can increase that. Actually do that right away. See this, yeah, font size. Not font size, style. Inside our style, we then use font styles for that. Yeah, let me tap into the font size. So let's try 20. I think 20 is too big for it. I don't know, but let's see what that looks like. Okay, I think it's better. Yeah, the icon is better right now. And this test button, is that okay? On focus no. Let's see, you can actually use button style to style it and say, okay, this is closed. When you tap on it, you close the popover. I think styling it. Okay, let's go ahead and style it first. Let's see. First of all, I'm gonna use center on this. Should definitely be centered. Yeah, there you go. You see that center somewhere around here. Oh, yeah, definitely that happens a lot. Sometimes the one that I kind of like that's kind of messed up a lot is that when you are working on a real project, let's say a client project or something like that, you kind of have many places where you have all these spelt word or wrong grammars and all those stuff, and the app also gets to be pushed to the public, and you're being called back. Hey, this word actually needs to be changed. Yeah, it happens a lot because I think we as software engineers we don't kind of like think more of the grammars or the letters or stuff we are using. As long as we are writing the codes, we are kind of more focused on the code than the grammars and the tests, stuff like that. Let's see. So we just want to style this style button, and it asks us to use the button style. Button style. Do you prefer using button style or just using a container to create a button? Just like a normal CSS or web development, instead of using the button HTML button tag, we actually prefer using the div to create a button. In Flutter, the same thing happens more often. I just most of the times prefer using a container to create a button than just using the normal button widget that's been created. The style, okay, let's wait. Material properties, visual density. I think this is way more of a stress to go through. Adding the background, overlay button, overlay colors and stuff like that, shadow color, all those stuff. Shadow color. Let's start with background color. I'm gonna say background color. In needs of type material. If you add a color property, yeah, it's not gonna work because that's not a type. Yeah, I know. Oh, how do you get stuff if you don't use containers much within your widget? So how do you what do you kind of do in place of it? What other widget do you use in place of container? Because I think containers kind of like a base point gives you more freedom to style, create stuff you want, all those, yeah, than just any other widget. Or you use card widget for that. You prefer using the card widget. I think I found the card widget hard to actually implement to style and all those stuff. That I'm straight ahead using okay, background color material resolve with state. Oh my goodness, why do we even need to add all this just to style a button for crying out loud? You see, that's why I actually prefer using the container. With the container, just add a background, just color property, just change the color to whatever you want to do than going all through this stress to just because you want to change the background color of a button. Yeah, but like we are saying, like I prefer using I think container channel give you more freedom than a card or any other widget to style stuff out. So over here, let's try this. So the state, if state.contain material.expressed, change the background to this, else return the background to be blue. So if you go ahead and save this, let's see what this looks like before adding our own changes. Okay, it looks like this. Definitely not what the color I'm trying to get. I'll say have shape also for it. And And the same for the size. Still have to use the material state property to get the size and other stuff also. Come on. So we don't want this to be the color when it's kind of like not placed. So we want, when it's not placed, want it to be black with opacity, kind of opacity to 5. And there you go, some stuff like that. And once it's placed on, we want it to be full black. We add this to 7. So there we go, we have this looking this way. If you want to style out the other end or stuff like that, add a space using the size box. So I just added a spacing between the button and the bottom center right there. And this is what our button currently looks like. It's too small to my liking. Let's see. I want the text to say something like red, but red for canceling is okay. Red color for cancel, does that denote? Okay, let's try that. Style, text style, color, just say colors should be red, comma, save. That doesn't look good to me. That looks terrible. Really terrible. I will prefer leaving the color to be black. But the issue is when you tap on this full black, kind of goes full black and stuff like that, and the colors goes out. Or we can actually leave it to be still the same color for our buttons and all those stuff. I think we can actually make it that way. So our normal button color is basically the same color we have for this. That should be this color we have right in here. Where is it? Yeah, this gray color. That's our normal button color. When buttons are not clicked on, it should be this color. And when the button is tapped on, it still should be this color. If you go ahead and try that out, now I think this is much better. Yeah, this is much better. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think gray color is much better there to create the visual representation of what's going on, so that the user can actually see it. And okay, there's a button, and when you tap on this, it has a tab, and the repo effect actually shows that this is a button. And this says cancel. When you tap on it, should cancel. Yeah, that's actually also the right stuff to do on it. Next, should we increase the button size, or we can actually leave it this way? If we have to increase the button size, maybe you can actually play around with that. So I have a background. It also has a size. No. Resolve width. Call back. Okay, button. Okay, I see. So it has a size. Fixed size. resolve width. Okay, I think we have two property: resolve as value and with state. Resolve width gives us a state. For all the states, return this size. For all the states, return this particular size for every single one of them. The size is gonna have a width. Let's say a width of 300.0 and a height of 80.0. That should still be constant. I actually wonder how you can actually animate a button by using the native button styles that Flutter have. I think it's kind of much harder to do. Oh my goodness, that's too big. That's too big. You could go like 140. Yeah, we could go like 140. Yeah, I think this is much better. Then cancel, we cancel this. So let's finish this up. When the user taps on cancel, just set this, revert back to canceling or closing the input. So that should be this end right in here. There you go. See that? And I think we are done right here. Okay guys, so I will stop in here for today. Just have any other stuff to actually go on and do. Let's continue this tomorrow. So tomorrow, like Esau said, we need to use Glassmorphic right here. So tomorrow I'll be adding the Glassmorphic design, like Esau suggested, which is actually a good suggestion. Thanks for that. So we're gonna add the Glassmorphic so that this will get a bit transparent for us to see what is behind it. So yeah, we'll be doing all that tomorrow, and also be fixing the editing of these fields tomorrow, make it editable. And I think that's all we have. Yeah, make that editable, be able to delete our lists and all those other stuff that we can actually do. Yeah, thank you for joining, and see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day, everyone. Let me know what you think, comment, whatever you want us to do next. If you have any project in mind that you want me to build live, let me know, and yeah, we can just work towards that. And also guys, I'm looking for if you know anyone who wants to join on the stream for backend, because we still want to convert this to be able to use maybe something like Node.js backend Lost or any backend development. Yeah, we can actually do a stream on that. So if you are good with that, we can actually make it able to do some stuff like that. So yeah, thanks guys for joining. Have a nice day, everyone. And if you haven't subscribed, try to subscribe. Yeah, sure, we can actually make it show near the click position. Yeah, one way you can actually do that is to get the position of these input elements, to-dos, and then I will show you guys tomorrow that we can work on that tomorrow and try to see. But I think this one is better, make it show at the top than just showing on the position. But we can do that tomorrow and see what that looks like. Yeah, have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.